General Kristik stood on top of a hill overlooking the battlefield. Laser blasts and the occasional plasma bomb were flying left and right. His troops were doing well, actually making a solid advance. Next to him stood his old frenemy, General Rashkan. His mandibles clicked from time to time, but his many limbs remained mostly still. They'd been at war since countless orbital cycles now, and knew each other very well. Both their species evolved in the same star system, but on different planets. They even resembled each other biologically in many ways. The conflict started, and has been lasting since, once both sides discovered spaceflight. They fought over resources, colonies, and simple insults, all over their corner of the galaxy. All within the confines of the galactic law set by the galactic community. Something was different this time, but Kristik just couldn't seem to tell what. Rashkan kept checking the clock, as if expecting a specific event to happen any time now. What also stood out was the fact that he didn't hire any auxiliaries this time, which were causing his troops to lose the fight. Kristik hired Tagan mercenaries for today's battle, as they were excellent at hit-and-run tactics, harassing enemy troops. This was very unlike him, to make such a grave mistake. Is he getting too old for this? They were at war with each other, sure, but they had also developed a bond over this. Kristik did not want to see Rashkan being replaced by some young hothead with no real knowledge of tactics. Where would be the fun in that? Suddenly, everything changed. The battlefield literally started exploding, but only at Kristik's troop's side. 3 dropships of unknown design began to descend from the sky, accompanied by very loud and very rapid "daka daka daka" noises. Kristik was shocked, as he watched his soldiers getting bombarded by unknown weaponry. The foreign craft set down, and dozens of bipedal beings, in some sort of mechanical uniforms, started to pour out of them, whilst making an "Hoorah!" sound simultaneously. More Daka noises could be heard, as these invaders apparently started to shoot. Whatever these weapons were, they completely bypassed the personal shields of Kristik's warriors and tore them apart. As physical armor was a thing of the past, it was pure carnage. "You thought I forgot to hire auxiliaries, didn't you?" said Rashkan, breaking the silence between them. "What? Who are they? What are they doing here?" yelled Kristik in shock. "They call themselves humans," replied Rashkan calmly. "You see, some 20 orbital cycles ago, one of our long-range trade convoys ran into the Ulgla pirate clan. You know, the one that even our navies are scared of. So the convoy decided to risk it and try to hide in the unknown regions. That's how desperate they were." Rashkan pulled a strange plant stick out of his pocket, lit it on fire, and put it between his mandibles and started puffing smoke. "Just about when the pirates were to engage, a small and strange fleet approached our convoy and started blasting the Ugla like they were nothing," he continued. "These strange ships then assisted our damaged vessels with repairs and went on their way." Kristik watched helplessly as his formations were falling apart, drowning in utter chaos whilst the Daka sounds continued. "We started diplomatic relations with them only a few days later," Kristik's adversary explained. "Whilst their FTL technology was far behind ours, their weaponry and combat prowess were extraordinary. We submitted a request to grant them full membership about 1 orbital cycle ago. It's still being reviewed, as barely anyone has heard of the humans." "Wait! They aren't even members of the galactic community!" Kristik screamed. "That's against the law! Non-members are not allowed to interfere with conflicts between members of the community." "I know. Then why did you break the law?" "I didn't. I found a loophole," Rashkan answered, now finally facing his opponent. "Medical personnel are allowed on the battlefield regardless of membership status." He pointed to the human dropships. See these markings? This is a so-called medevac unit. Its purpose is to remove wounded soldiers from the battlefield, whilst eliminating all obstacles that prevent it from doing so. Your soldiers are such an obstacle, old friend. Christic was shocked. His mandibles were opening and closing, but no sound came out. Before he could do anything, though, he heard loud, mechanical stomping behind him. One of the humans was approaching him. It was encased in some sort of robotic metal plating that made mechanical sounds. It was huge. What was presumably the human's head reminded Christic of the primates of Keshin 4, but with far less fur. This human, however, did have some fur between what was presumably its nose and mouth. It also had the same plant stick Rash Khan had, and was also puffing smoke. The monstrosity stopped only a few steps from Rash Khan, and then it spoke. "Nurse Webowski reporting for duty."